Hi kids, it's Bunny back with another junk journal, and this one is Spring Day, and it's very pretty hardback with very pretty fabric covering it, and a little girl chasing a butterfly, well, picking flowers while the butterflies fly around. And there's a little teeny weeny vintage fly pin on the sash, and we'll take the sash off and look inside. What a great idea. Oh, first of all, let me show you. These didn't fit in the journal. It made it too fat, so they're little mini journals. And just like the big journal, they have little mini tags and ephemera and bags with little treats in them, and so you'll want to check those out. And now we'll open the big one. Readjust, zoom out, and inside we see a lace pocket with a journaling card. All journaling cards are blank on the back, so you can journal on them. And there's a tag. All tags are blank on the back, so you can journal on them. Some are bigger than that. Here's a little teeny tag, just for the heck of it. And in this pretty envelope is a letter for the person who buys the journal, telling them what junk journals are and how to use them and that kind of thing. And the digitals you see throughout are from Lenny's Paper Treasure on Etsy. And I've gussied it up a bit. On the next page we see a little side pocket, corner pocket, with a journaling card and a big tag, so you can write lots of stuff on that, and a little glassine envelope. Inside of this one is some vintage button card. And a lot of the pages are coffee dyed, and some of them have lace on the edges. And there are little clusters and things throughout, lots of little details. Here's a page out of a vintage book, like a yearbook, I believe. And here's a doily. This is supposedly mulberry paper with some flower petals in it. It doesn't feel like mulberry paper to me, but that's what it said it was. So there you go. Here's a page out of a it's about music, vintage book. And in this tuck there is a pretty journaling card. And here is a Stone Mountain Scenic Railroad ticket, Georgia Stone Mountain Memorial Park, and that's vintage. And moving on, we have pretty vellum paper with a pretty girl on it, and some vintage sheet music. And here's a page from a vintage Lionel Trains handbook. Another more things. And here is some interesting pink paper. This is a large side pocket, and in it we have a large journaling card you can write on, and a letter from a soldier to his wife, a love letter from 1945. And you can read that. It's very sweet. And moving on, we have another tuck. This is a vintage postcard from the 20s, I believe, the 1920s, that is. And another tag. And here is a photograph, a vintage photograph from 1939. American school children with their marionettes for Johnny Appleseed. It's like a play they're putting on in Burma in 1939. Probably missionary kids or something like that. Here's a page from a vintage book. I think this is more Lionel Train. And here's another vellum page with a pretty woman on it. And in this pocket there is a pretty journaling card and a big old tag. And this is a vintage Leonard Cleanable Refrigerators 1910. And it's probably a little advertising thing. And going on, we have a cabinet card with a very serious looking gentleman. No date, but very old. And continuing on to the next signature, we have a journaling card and a tag, and this is a little mini what do you call it, folder that I made, and inside of it is a vintage flashcard, French and English, I believe. This is from a vintage cookbook. This is more so-called mulberry paper with hearts on it. And in this pocket, which I added fringe on the bottom, there's journaling card and a tag. And these are another vintage photograph of children in Burma. And it names all their names. David has a frog on his hat, hence the expression. Must be that guy there. Anyway, you can see it better if you buy it and look at it closely. This is a page from a vintage book about Scotland. I don't know why they do travel books with black and white pictures, but maybe they didn't have color then, I don't know. And there's a little journaling card and a picture of two of the missionaries from Burma, 1939. This is a belly band, and it has a journaling card and another nice cabinet card. Lovely lady on this cabinet card. Moving on, this is some vintage wallpaper. And here's a little glassine bag with a little miniature tag and journaling card. More Scotland. This is a vintage postcard, probably also from the 20s. Well, let's see. Well, it says October 24, but doesn't say the year, but I think it's from the 20s. And here is a vintage photograph. This is not one of the Burma ones. It's a different vintage photograph, and a tag. I must move swiftly because I must finish before 18 minutes are up, or this will cut off. Huh? I'll find a different way to shoot this someday. And here is a German card and a big old tag. And this is a little pamphlet about the New York World's Fair 1939. It's got a map in it for people going to the World's Fair in 1939. More vellum with a pretty lady. A journaling card and a tag, and here's a glassine envelope, and inside of it, what's inside of it? It's a little tobacco trading card. Vintage tobacco trading card. And this is a page from a vintage book about India during the war. Here's some vintage sheet music. This is a flip out envelope. Inside of it is a handbook of archery, and that's very old also. And on the other side is a vintage receipt. 1961. Here's another big side pocket. In it is a large journaling card and something else. Good bread. There's a vintage bread cookbook pamphlet. Very old. Damaged. Here is a paper bag that you open like that, and inside are pretty pictures, and this is a calling card. This one must have been a sample because it doesn't have a name under it, but it's the kind where you hide your name, and that's vintage. And then this just folds back up. Yes, it does. It folds back up. It folds back up. Well, why am I having trouble? There we go. Okay, never mind. I got it. And here is a journaling card and a tag and another picture from 1939. This is 1937 in Burma. They're doing a production of Hansel and Gretel. This is an envelope that I've attached to the page. And inside of it is a pretty journaling card and some more vintage buttons. And another pretty journaling card and another little envelope, and inside of it is another vintage tobacco trading card. 4 minutes left. More vellum. And this is a vintage, from a vintage book also. In here we have a journaling card and another vintage photograph of kids from Burma in 1937 or 39. And another flip out, and in this is a journaling card, mushrooms, and a brochure of Fun with Magic. And that's vintage, probably the 50s or 60s. And another vintage photograph from Burma. Journaling card, tag, another envelope. Inside of it is a little journaling card and a flashcard. I believe it's French and English. More Scotland. Another little bag with pictures from vintage Burma. And a journaling card, another journaling card and tag. And we're on the back where we have a journaling card and a tag and vintage war ration book from, I assume, World War II. It doesn't really say. And that's it. That's it. I made it. I made it. It's only 16:45. And I made it. And here it is. And it's in my shop on Etsy, which is called Mimosa Morn Journals. So check it out, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.